One of the things that I find when I travel around and work with teachers in different places is they'll say, well, we spent 3 weeks on this, so I know they know it, or we've done this, I've told them, so we know they know it. And one of the things that I have found is they might not know it as well as we thought. And we need to actually try to figure out what they're understanding. So I've gotten really interested in number talks. And I got a chance to go watch Sherry Parrish and Ann and then Connie, Joe, and Beth talk about these number talks. So one of the things, because I do daily number sense all the time, I was interested to learn about number strings and how the number strings work and the nuances. And so I decided to try it with some kids. And I went out and I gave them a certain problem for them to try. So here's the problem I gave them. And you have the rest of this 15 seconds to mentally solve this problem. So just quietly think of all the ways that you could solve it. Okay, you can have 15 more seconds. So go ahead. Use it wisely. Do you have it? Got some strategies? So I did this with the kids, and one of the strategies they used was this counting up. They started at 9 5/8, and they went up to 10, and then 17, and maybe some of you use that strategies. Other kids, they actually did a round and adjust. They made both of them the 5/8, and then they actually subtracted it and then adjusted both off. And I thought these were great strategies. I liked them. But I had one I thought that they really need to know that they hadn't done. So I shared my strategy. And I went through and thought of 17 as 16 and 8/8, and this whole actually subtracting to get towards the algorithm, because I thought they were ready. They were really getting it.
I can't say it. That is not the purpose of our session. That was not the purpose, Sandy. We are talking about students making sense. Not really about yours. I know that a lot of people think that, yeah, they get good ideas, but this is the way they should learn it. I'm going to suggest too many words, that if you want students to learn, we have to be a little more quiet. So maybe we need to think a little bit more about what we do to shift us so we are quieter and they take a little bit more ownership in what they're doing. For example, Gallon Man, lovely. Gallon Man and the little things to help them really think about what's going on, but really, does it help? Does it really help? Or is it that we really need to think about all we've taught them, or do they need to make better sense of it? Do they need to really think about what those paper clips are about, make sense of the relationships between things? Because gosh knows our measurement scores are in the, and we need more experiences where kids are working. Maybe place value. If we go through this every day in first grade and on calendar math, maybe I think they get place value, Beth, and I think they get understanding coins. I'm not sure they get place value if they watch the teacher bundle and bundle and bundle and put up numbers. Or do they do a better job when they are working on figuring out what that 10 is and finally trusting that inside that group is a 10 where they don't have to count it and count it and count it. But they have to make sense of all that work. Oh, my favorite, Pythagorean. We just heard Kevin talk about it in being area. You know what? We fill their brains with so many formulas. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. My favorite interpretation is when I heard it with one of the mathematicians I was working with, and he asked his child, he said, yeah, I know what that means. That's area squared plus base squared equals circumference squared. And we were wondering, how does Pythagorean really relate to circumference? But it's really about all those rules jumbled up in their heads.
So one of the things I guess you're saying is maybe I need more of a productive belief instead of that unproductive, giving kids a chance to actually talk about things and persevere versus me tell them what they need to know. One of the things I found is what you think is obvious isn't so obvious. I asked some kindergartens how many hands I had up. They said 5. I said, great, 5 fingers. How many hands? 5. When I held up 2 hands, 10. So some of the things that we count on as being obvious isn't that. So we need to learn to be quiet,
learn to be curious, and let the students do and share their thinking.
Because what we may find when they do that is what we think they understand because we told them they don't. Telling doesn't mean it's been learned, and yes, this really was planned.